Hi, it's Jackie with Sites Music School here in Eastern Idaho. And I don't know if I got cut off, but my name's Jackie. And what I'm doing is this week I am doing a fiddle tune challenge for my students. And so we already learned Shady Grove. And if any of you missed it and you want me to do a live on that, I would sure be willing to do that. But today we're actually learning a tune called The Fox, which is a bluegrass kind of old time fiddle tune. And so here's what I've done. The first part of this is that I'm teaching a fiddle lesson. I'm going to teach you how to play the basic melody, which is super simple. Like anyone that's been playing for a few months can do this. You can jazz that part up as you go along. And then I'm going to do a break, a fiddle break. And so it's loosely based on the Nickel Creek version. But my favorite version is of the Petersons. It's Petersons with an E-N on the end. So if you're wanting to learn this tune and you don't quite understand how it goes, go ahead over there to the Petersons channel and type in The Fox and you can listen to them sing it. But I love it. This has got a bunch of words that go in. The fox goes on the town and he feeds his family. I'm not going to sing it for you now, but I'll play the tune for you. Okay, so let me go ahead and play the basic melody and then I'll play the break and then I'll break it down. Okay, so it sounds like this. Here's the basic melody. That's the basic melody, and like I said, it's super simple. So the break is going to sound a little bit like this. So we'll go over both of those today. If you're more of a beginner, great, we'll cover that right at the beginning, but if you've been playing for a while, you might enjoy the break. And then I've actually been doing mandolin and guitar, and then I don't know if you know me much or not, but I have a degree in playing the cello, and so I've added a super simple cello part, and this has been really fun because all of my students are able to play the tune together by the end. I'm also gonna post up those videos as well as the sheet music. So right now I have the sheet music for violin, including the fingerings. So if you like to read tab, it's got that on it. And it has the basic melody and the break. So if you go over to Sites Music School, I've got the video I've already posted of me kind of playing slow through the song. And then I also have that sheet music, but that's where I'll post everything else. Okay, so let's start. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play nice and slow through that basic melody. The fox went out on a chilly night. Okay, that's the first phrase. It sounds like this. So what I'm doing is I'm going to start with an up bow on the E string. So that means I'm going to set my bow kind of towards the tip here. And I want to make sure I've got my bow pretty parallel with the bridge to get a good sound. And then I want to set up my second finger on the A string. So what I like to do is start with my open A, add a finger, and then add my second finger. Then usually at this point, I'll lift the first finger out of the way and kind of tilt my elbow underneath the violin just a little bit so that I do what's called a tunnel for my second finger. So I'm going to go ahead and tunnel it so that second finger is not quite touching the E string. And that leaves me free to bow a couple times on the E. But my second finger is already set up. So I'm going to set my bow on the E string, but I've got my second finger set up and I'm making sure it's not touching the E. So that first phrase is E, E, 2, 2, then 2/8 notes. So what I would do is practice that a few times. So let's do it really slow. Very similar. I'm going to start down bow, but play the same beginning notes. Here's where it's different. that part that's different starts on the second finger, C sharp, then goes to the first finger, and then goes up to the E. So my suggestion, number one, is when I play the little section, if you're having a hard time following along, just listen. I see someone else joined. So we're doing the fox, and I already played how the tune kind of goes. And so I'm gonna just super slow this down. So the first part, and then the second part is, so if it's super slow, that will help a lot. And if you've heard it once, that'll help a lot too. So listen one time and then let's play it together again. Okay, the next section is going to start on the second finger. 1, 2, again. And then I'm going to do a half note on the third finger. 1, 2, half note on the first finger. So, okay, the next thing I'm going to do is play the last little section of this part. Let's do that again. I find things that jump around are a little harder to play. So if you can remind yourself of the fingerings, that'll help a lot. So what I would do is I'd say 2, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0. Again. If you're following along and you're having a hard time catching it, go over to that blog at Sites Music School and download the sheet music. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go back to the beginning and I'm gonna play through that first section. So we're gonna start up bow. So that's the first part of the fox. That's the first half of the melody. So let me play it for you again. I'll play the whole song again, the whole basic melody. Remember, I'm going to go over the fancy advanced fiddle part after this. So here was that basic melody. You might want to just listen along. Half of that, and again I do have the fancy part that's the same kind of fox break that was on the Nickel Creek album, so I've got that as well. So I'll go ahead and give you that too. So we're gonna do the second half of this. So we're gonna start on A, B, B, 2, okay, let's do that part again. So what I did there was I played the second finger, but I made sure it was tunneled over the E string. And then I played the third finger, and I made sure it was tunneled over the E string. So if I play that line, I have 2 A's, 2 first finger B's, and I go from the second finger up to the E string, and then the third finger up to the E string. So let's do that. 2 A's, 2 B's, first finger, now second finger up to the open E, put the third finger right next to it, and just gonna go 2, 1, 0, 0. Then we're gonna go from 1 up to 3. 2, 1. Hold on that first finger. So that last section of the simple part is remember that music is at sitesmusicschool.com on the blog. You can click on the Fox challenge. I have a video of me already kind of breaking it down. I'm playing it really slow and I'm playing it fast. So let's go over that simple part again. I'm going to play it slow and then fast, and then we're going to break down the really fun bluegrassy solo part. Now that part's a little bit more advanced. It uses some high fingers, and so that's going to be pretty fun to play. So probably on that one, I'll give you a scale to practice. Why don't we play a little bit of a scale to start this song? I think that's mostly what you need, just to go A, first finger B, second finger C sharp, and then you might want to add that third finger. Now remember, to start this part, I'm going to start up on the E. The music, sitesmusicschool.com, and you can get it for free there. So down the scale, 1 to 3. Hang on the 1. Okay, here's the advanced part. Again, it sounded like this. Okay, so here's what we need to know to do this advanced part. We want to play an A scale up and down, whole step to first finger, whole step to second finger, set the third finger right next to it for a half step, then up to the E string, whole step to second finger, and then half step to third finger. You can come back down. Then right here we have a G sharp. So if you're playing on the D string and you're playing a third finger, we're going to have a G sharp, which means that third finger is going to be what we call high. Now a high third finger happens when you have a regular first finger, which is a whole step from the open string on the D. And then I have a whole step to my second finger, and then I'm going to add a whole step to my third finger. You want to be careful not to flatten that third finger out. You want to get it right centered on the string so you have equal parts of your finger surrounding the string, and make sure it's pressing down. I like to press down on the left hand part of the finger until the tip kind of turns white just a little bit. And you can practice that by going. Be really careful that you lock down just a little bit between your index finger joint and your thumb. Lock in, squeeze in just a little bit. Otherwise what will happen is when you reach to the high 3, it'll pull the rest of your hand sharp. So make sure you're playing. Reach, but give it a little lock. If you feel your hand sliding, that means you aren't locking quite in enough. You don't need the death grip on the thing. You just need a little bit more squeeze right there. That'll hold you in position. And I would play. Practice reaching into that note. You can play. I feel like I'm reaching out with the tip of my third finger to hit that note. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Let's go ahead and start and kick off that advanced part. So just listen one time. Here's what that first section sounds like. So I'm gonna play. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually play my fourth finger on the A with my open E. When I do that, I like to play it what's called independently. And an independent finger is a finger that hits down on the string all by itself. Now I have to be careful to keep my hand shape correct and keep my squeeze. Because if I do an independent fourth finger and I let go, my hand's gonna come up sharp. So I might even play these fingers. Then I like to pull my elbow under just a little bit, release my thumb here a little bit, and then squeeze in tight on this side. And I like to go ahead and do what's called a tunnel on that fourth finger. Make sure it's not hitting that open E string while I'm playing it. Make sure it's only on the A string. Make sure I'm not flat or anything like this, or I might get a squeaky sound. So I'm gonna play that with my E. Play it as many times as you need to. You can slide into it until it matches with the E string. And we're gonna count 1, 2, 3, and then I'm gonna slur. And you gotta really watch that third finger because it's a whole step back, so don't let it come up too high. So 1, 2, 3. Then the next section, reach that 3, and then I like to keep the third finger down to hold my position. I call it a post. I'm gonna post that third finger down so the fourth finger can reach with it. Now I've got to really make sure I'm under far enough with my elbow so that I'm not hitting the A string with my finger. So my fourth finger will hit the A string if my elbow is too far to the left. So I'm gonna get that elbow under. So here's that part. This is probably the trickiest section, and it gets pretty easy after that. 2, 3. Now I'm gonna slur up bow from 2 to the fourth finger. In the music, it says open E the first time, but I would slur from a 2 to a 4 and use the open E for the down bow. So, and you probably can't see this, but I've got my elbow under pretty far for this section. Then I relax it. So that little section, sometimes I add a little embellishment. Okay, so if I go from the beginning, 2, 3. I'm adding to this slur is I'm adding a pull off, so I'm just taking that second finger and quickly releasing it. It's important for this that I have my first finger down, anchored on the string, and then that way I have something to release the 2 to. And then the next part, now that part has 1.5 counts, a dotted quarter note, so it's 1 and 2. So slowly, 1 and 2. Okay, the next part goes. So I'm gonna play. So from the beginning, I have that fourth finger. 2, 3, slur, high 3, hold that 4, slur from the 2 to 4, hold, 1 and 2. Okay, that part is where we left off. I want to mention one more thing. From here, when I get to that open E after the 3, 2, 3 on the A string, I I go to the E string, I kind of rock my hand back just a tiny bit, not a lot, just a tiny bit, so that I can be centered on the E string. Now, I most certainly don't want to do like this kind of a thing. I want to make sure that I'm rocking and recentering my hand. I don't want to be off to the side this way. I want to be right down on top of the violin like this, not sideways like this. So be very careful to keep yourself centered on the strings. So I'm centering on the A string here. Then I'm releasing, centering on the E, and then I'm moving it back. So that looks like this. Okay, next part. That's a little figure. So the figure happens when we have the same kind of falling and rising of notes, and then we go either a little lower or higher with it. So the first one is I play 3 notes in a row going down. Then I come back to the note I started on. So I played 3 notes in a row coming down, and then I came back to the second finger. So 2, 3, 2. Now I'm going to play that figure down a note. So I'm going to start with the first finger and go 3 in a row down. There's that high 3, I reached for it. Now, if I reach the tip, but I kept my hand locked down a little bit in position, I'm going to find that I'm going to be back in tune when I get back to this first finger. So let's run that figure again, and then we'll go over the part I just played. So we start with the 2. Section I'm going to slur, and that brings us into the second part of the tune. So let's go over those 2 lines, the first part of the break. So I'm going to start, I might even go, and then I pop that elbow under, I check it, here we go, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, up bow. Now this second part happens right now, and we're gonna go into the key of E. We're not actually going into the key of E, but we're transitioning to an E chord on that part. So it might be helpful to play a little E. That'd be a good warm up. So the part's gonna go like this. So I'm going to start with the first finger. I'm going to slur into that high 3, into the second finger. So down bow with the 1, go over to the high 3, and then slur into the second finger. And if you've reached appropriately with the third fingertip and locked your hand down, you won't be sharp with the first finger. But if you've released and jumped to that third finger, you're going to be a little bit sharp. So keep your spacing back as you play that. Then here I'm going to play 2 to 4 and then the E. So that part is 2, 4, E, 1. Okay, so let's do that section. We're almost done. The next part goes. So that section was. Let's break it down. We're going to go from the third finger to the open. Second finger. 3. 1 on the E. 3. so they're twice as fast. For the ending, here is I like to bar my first finger. So I'm going to take that first finger, I'm going to pretend like there's a string right in the middle between the D and A. I'm going to place that first finger right in the middle there. So I'm hitting even on both strings. I'm going to just rock my bow. Now you have to move your finger just a little bit. My husband Joe, his fingers are a little bit broader than mine, and he doesn't really have to move them a lot. But I find that most players, especially if you have little smaller ends on your finger, have to wiggle it just a little bit to do one of those bars if you're not doing a double stop. So I'm keeping this first finger posted on the D string, but I'm posting it in the middle of the two strings, but I'm not letting it come off the D string. I gotta keep it down. My fourth finger along with the A. You want to play it simply, you can go A, B, A, or you can pull that elbow around. That's a hit with a different part of that first finger, but that's kind of fun too. Okay, so now that we work through it, remember this is live, but most everybody is going to be watching it on the playback because I don't post videos over here very often. But if you like it, let me know and I'll post some more videos because these are super fun. So let me play through that whole section kind of slow, the entire break part. And then remember, that sheet music is for free over there at Sites Music School. It's new. I posted it up just for the challenge so I could post the sheet music and stuff. But the blog, I posted the blog brand new there. So if you click on the blog and then click on the Fox, there's also a tune called Shady Grove, which I'm uploading very soon. That was the first tune we did. We did it on Vimeo, which was kind of private. So if there are some of you that would like it, let me know and I can post it up on YouTube. But anyway, this is called the Fox. This is the break. Okay, here we go. Kind of slow. Faster. 3, 4. Okay, I hope you like that. I will be posting some cello parts, bass part, a guitar part, and I definitely have a mandolin part. I think it's posting now or about to be posted. And so if you like playing the mandolin, remember, if you play the fiddle or the violin, if you pick up a mandolin, the fingerings remain the same, and all you have to learn is how to do the pick, and of course tune it because it's got twice as many strings. So that's the other thing that happens there. So anyway, I will see you on the next one. Thanks. Oh, I don't know how to stop it. I think I've never done one before. So probably the X. See you.